Number 1 says solve the equation. Our equation is 6x equals 25. Now we have 6 in front of that x, and we kind of move it to get x by itself. Now 6 and x being next to each other means that they're being multiplied. So to undo that multiplying, we divide. So we divide both sides by 6. 25 divided by 6 gives me a decimal. So I'm going to want to keep it as a fraction, but reduce it if possible. I can't reduce 25 over 6, so that's going to be my answer. So let's type it in. Typing it in, we can either use the fraction button down here or press the slash button to make a fraction. So clicking the button here, we have 25, press down, and 6. So 25 over 6 is your answer for number 1. Number 2. Toucans and blue and yellow macaws are both tropical birds. The length of the toucan in the picture to the right is about 2/3 of the length of the blue and yellow macaw. The toucan is about 28 inches long. What is the length of the blue and yellow macaw? Let's take a look at it. First, let's let t equal the length of the toucan, and let's let n equal the length of the macaw. So we have the sentence here. The length of the toucan is about 2/3 of the blue and yellow macaw. Now we have length of the toucan is t. Is in math means equals, so t equals 2/3 of the blue and yellow macaw. 2/3 will be 2 over 3. Of means multiply in math. So we don't have to put the multiplication symbol, but we could put the letter m next to it because it's 2/3 of the length of that. So my equation is t equals 2/3 m. Now I'm given that the toucan is about 28 inches long. So replace t with 28, set that equal to 2/3 m, and now I can solve for n to find the length of the blue and yellow macaw. So what I would do is multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this fraction to get rid of it. The reciprocal is the fraction flipped upside down. So that means I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 over 2. Okay, so 3 over 2 times 28 gives me 42. 2/3 times 3 over 2 gives me 1, and I'm just left with m. So the length is going to be 42 inches. And that's my answer for number 2. So let's type it in. So typing in 42, that is my answer. Number 3 says solve the equation using addition or subtraction. So let's take a closer look at it. So I have where the x is, I have a -5, keeping that x from being by itself. And these two are being added, so that means I'm going to have to do addition or subtraction in order to move this -5 away. Now, since -5 is in the front, I have to look at the sign that it is, and my operation is going to be the opposite sign. So this is a -5, so the opposite operation is going to be positive, which means in this case it's going to be addition. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and that's going to give me 9.7 for x. So let's type that in. Now it says we are allowed to type in a decimal, which is what we have. So again, our answer is 9.7. That's the answer for number 3. Number 4 says to solve, we have a minus 5 equals -19. To get this a by itself, I have to move this -5. And since it's subtraction here, the opposite of subtraction is addition, so I add 5 to both sides. -19 plus 5 is -14. That's the answer for number 4. Number 5, it says to solve. We have x over 4 equals -5. So let's take a closer look at it. Now when we have 4 at the bottom of x, it means 4 is dividing x. So what we're going to do is cross out that 4 and bring it to the other side and multiply it to -5. Remember, the opposite of division is multiplication. So now -5 times 4 is -20. Bring down the x that's left, so we have x equals negative 20. And that's going to be the answer, so let's type that in. So typing it in, we have negative 20. Jumping ahead to number 7, we have 2 over 9y equaling 6, and we got to solve it, so let's take a look at it. So we have a fraction that we're trying to get rid of to get the y by itself. Now what we can do is multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Now the reciprocal would be 9 over 2, which is this one flipped upside down. So we multiply both sides by 9 over 2. Now 9 over 2 times 2 over 9 is 1, so we're just left with y on this side. Over here, we'll have 6 times 9 over 2, which will give you 27. So y equals 27. Let's type it in. Typing that in, and that's number 7. Number 10 says solve the equation. We have 3 over 4 equals 5 over 6 plus y. So let's take a closer look at it. Here we have two fractions. In order to solve this and take care of them, we're going to need to find common denominators, meaning make both of the bottom numbers the same. Now, if you don't know what the common denominator is, you could simply multiply 4 and 6 together to give you a common denominator to use. It doesn't have to be the least common denominator. Multiplying the two together then will give you 24. So our denominators are going to be 24. Now to make 4 24, we multiply 4 by 6. And whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do up top. So you have to multiply 3 by 6, which gives us 18. Now for this fraction, we also have 24 now at the bottom. To make 6 24, we multiply 6 times 4. So we also got to multiply 5 times 4. So that will give us 20. Now, what we would do to get rid of the fractions is multiply each and every term, meaning 18 over 24, 20 over 24, and y by the denominator, which is 24. Doing so will make the fractions go away. If I multiply 18 over 24 by 24, all I'm left with is a numerator of 18. Multiplying 20 over 24 by 24, all I'm left with is a numerator of 20. Multiplying any fraction by its denominator always leaves you with the numerator or the top number. And then I also have to multiply 24 by y to give you 24y. Now, I could solve this like a regular equation. So I subtract 20 on both sides, and 18 minus 20 is negative 2 equals 24y. Now I divide both sides by 24, and that gives me negative 2 over 24. Now I can reduce this fraction. I can divide top and bottom numbers by 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So my final answer is going to be negative 1 over 12. So let's type that in. So typing it in, I have negative 1 over 12 as my answer for number 10. Number 11 is asking me to solve the equation. I have 7 over 3m equals 1 over 3. So let's take a closer look at it. Now, first thing I'm going to do is rewrite 7 over 3m as 7m over 3. It's the same thing, which equals 1 over 3. Now, notice how all we have is fractions, and they both have the same denominator. That means I can just cross them out, the denominators, and just rewrite what's left, which is 7m equals 1. Divide both sides by 7, and I'll have m equals 1 over 7. And that's going to be my answer, so let's type it in. So typing it in, we have 1 over 7. And that's my answer for number 11.